Hello and welcome to Indian Army Chronicles, where I share interesting facts and stories about history, geography, and military affairs. In today's video, we are going to talk about Operation Meghdoot, a daring and decisive military operation by the Indian Army to secure the strategic heights of the Saltoro Ridge in the Siachen Glacier, the highest and coldest battlefield in the world. So let's find out more about this world's highest battlefield. But before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to get notified of my latest videos. And if you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thank you. So, what is Operation Meghdoot and why is it important? To answer that, we need to go back to the year 1984 when India and Pakistan were engaged in a territorial dispute over the northern part of Jammu and Kashmir, now known as Ladakh. The line of control, or the de facto border between the two countries, was not clearly defined beyond a point called NJ 9842, which lies at the foot of the Karakoram Range. India claimed that the line extended northwards along the watershed of the Saltoro Ridge, while Pakistan claimed that it extended northeastwards towards the Karakoram Pass. This left a large area of about 2,500 square kilometers, including the Siachen Glacier, unclaimed and unoccupied by either side. The Siachen Glacier is a massive river of ice that stretches for about 75 kilometers from the Indira Kal in the north to the Partapur base camp in the south. It is located at an average altitude of 18,000 feet above sea level and experiences temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius. It is also prone to frequent avalanches and crevasses, making it a very inhospitable and dangerous place to live and operate. However, it also has a strategic significance as it overlooks the Nubra Valley, which connects Ladakh with Tibet, and the Shaksgam Valley, which Pakistan ceded to China in 1963. Whoever controls the Siachen Glacier also controls the access to these vital regions. Both India and Pakistan were aware of the importance of the Siachen Glacier and had been sending expeditions and reconnaissance teams to explore and map the area since the 1970s. However, things escalated in 1984 when India's intelligence agencies reported that Pakistan was planning to launch a large-scale operation codenamed Ababil to occupy the Saltoro Ridge and the Siachen Glacier on April 17. The Saltoro Ridge is a series of mountain peaks that runs parallel to the Siachen Glacier and has several passes that provide access to the glacier from the west. The highest and most important of these passes are Sia La, Bilafand La, and Jayang La, which are located at altitudes of over 18,000 feet. India decided to preempt Pakistan's move and launched its own operation, codenamed Meghdooth, on April 13, 4 days before Pakistan's planned date. The operation was led by Lieutenant General Prem Nath Hoon, the General Officer Commanding-in-Chief of the Western Command, and involved airlifting troops and equipment by helicopters to the Saltoro Ridge. The helicopters used were the Cheetah and the Chetak, which were light and agile but had limited payload and endurance. The operation was a logistical and operational challenge as the helicopters had to fly at very high altitudes in extreme weather conditions and under the threat of enemy fire. The operation was a success as the Indian troops managed to land on the Saltoro Ridge and secure the key passes of Sia La, Bilafand La, and Jayang La before the Pakistani troops could reach them. The Indian troops also hoisted the Indian flag at Bilafand La, marking their presence and claim over the Siachen Glacier. The operation was named after a famous Sanskrit poem by Kalidasa, which means cloud messenger, as the helicopters were like messengers from the clouds, bringing the Indian soldiers to the glacier. Pakistan was taken by surprise and tried to dislodge the Indian troops from the Saltoro Ridge, but failed to do so. The Pakistani troops were at a disadvantage as they had to climb up the steep slopes of the ridge while facing the Indian fire from the higher positions. The Pakistani troops also suffered from frostbite, hypothermia, and altitude sickness as they were not well equipped and acclimatized for the harsh environment. The Indian troops, on the other hand, were better prepared and trained as they had learned from the previous expeditions and operations in the area. The outcome of Operation Meghdoot was that India gained control of the entire Siachen Glacier and administered it as part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, now Ladakh. Pakistan, on the other hand, was left with only the lower reaches of the glacier and had to accept the Indian dominance over the region. The operation also changed the strategic situation in the region as it gave India an advantage over Pakistan and China, who share a border near the glacier. The operation also sparked off the Siachen conflict, which is the longest-running military conflict between India and Pakistan. The conflict has claimed the lives of thousands of soldiers on both sides, mostly due to the harsh weather and terrain rather than the actual combat. The conflict has also caused environmental damage to the glacier, which is the source of many rivers in the region. The conflict remains unresolved despite several attempts at dialogue and peace initiatives. The two countries have maintained a ceasefire since 2003, but the troops remain deployed at the glacier at a huge cost to both the human and the natural resources. However, the operation also came at a cost, as both India and Pakistan have lost thousands of soldiers and millions of dollars in maintaining their positions on the Siachen Glacier. The soldiers have to face not only the enemy fire, but also the natural hazards of the glacier, such as avalanches, crevasses, landslides, and glacial floods. The soldiers also have to cope with the scarcity of oxygen, water, food, and fuel, and the psychological stress of isolation and boredom. The operation also has an environmental impact as the glacier is polluted by the waste and debris left by the military activities and is melting due to the global warming and the human interference. Several attempts have been made to resolve the Siachen conflict and to demilitarize the glacier, but none have been successful so far. The main obstacle is the lack of trust and agreement between the two countries on the verification and authentication of the AGPL. Both India and Pakistan claim the Siachen Glacier as their own and are reluctant to withdraw their troops, fearing that the other side will occupy the vacated positions. The Siachen Glacier remains a bone of contention and a symbol of the rivalry between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. Operation Meghdoot was a remarkable feat of courage and skill by the Indian Armed Forces, who captured the world's highest and coldest battlefield and thwarted Pakistan's designs on the glacier. The operation also marked the beginning of the Siachen conflict, which is still ongoing and poses a challenge to the peace and stability of the region. The operation also raises some questions, such as, was it worth it to fight over a barren and inhospitable land? What are the prospects of resolving the conflict and demilitarizing the glacier? How can the two countries cooperate to preserve the ecology and the water resources of the glacier? These are some of the questions that we hope to explore in our future videos. That's all for today's video. I hope you learned something new and interesting about Operation Meghdoot and the Siachen Glacier. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.